We all want to stick around, don't we? Live a long life and, feel good doing it.
It's pretty universal, that desire.
Absolutely. And what's really wild is that some clues for how to do that might actually be living inside us right now.
You mean in the gut microbiome?
Exactly. That whole city of trillions of tiny organisms in our digestive system. Today, we're doing a deep dive into what makes the gut bacteria of centenarians people hitting 100 so unique.
Yeah, the research is pretty compelling. We're talking studies from Italy, Japan, China.
Right, all over.
Huh.
So our mission here is to unpack what's special about their microbes and figure out what it might mean for the rest of us.
It's fascinating because even with different diets and lifestyles in these places, common patterns are emerging in their gut bacteria.
Common patterns, despite the differences.
They tend to have more of certain beneficial bacteria compared to younger adults. It suggests something quite fundamental is going on.
Okay, so it's not just random. There are specific microbes showing up again and again.
Exactly. And research keeps pointing to a few key players.
Let's dig into those. First up, Akkermansia mucinifera. Bit of a mouthful.
Ha! It is. But it's a really important one. Akkermansia is crucial for strengthening the gut barrier.
The barrier, you mean the lining of the gut.
Precisely. It feeds on mucin, which is that sort of slippery layer coating the gut lining.
Okay.
By doing that, it helps keep that lining intact, prevents things from leaking out that shouldn't, which, helps reduce inflammation systemically.
So it keeps the bad stuff out and calms inflammation. Makes sense.
Oh, okay.
What's next? Bifidobacterium species. I know that name from yogurt.
Yeah, you often see bifidus advertised. They're definitely beneficial. The studies often mention specifics like B. adolescentis and B. longum.
And what do they do that's so great?
Well, a key thing is producing short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, like acetate, for example.
SCFAs.
Yeah.
Right, I've heard of those.
They're like fuel for the cells lining your colon, but they also act as signals. They influence inflammation, even potentially brain function. They're key communicators in the gut.
Wow, little communicators.
Okay.
Another one mentioned is Christensenella minuta. It sounds smaller.
It does, but it's generating a lot of buzz. Research consistently links Christensenella to leanness and lower inflammation levels.
Leanness, really?
Yeah, and some studies even suggest it might play a role in appetite regulation. Plus, there's a hint it might be heritable.
Heritable, so you could inherit it from your family. That's wild.
Potentially influencing metabolic health across generations, yeah. It's an active area of research.
Okay, fascinating.
Yeah.
And lastly, lactobacillus. These are in fermented foods, right? Like sauerkraut.
Definitely. Lactobacillus species are great at maintaining the gut's pH balance. They produce lactic acid.
Lactic acid.
Okay. Which helps create a good environment for other beneficial microbes and makes it less friendly for potentially harmful ones. Their presence in fermented foods really shows that diet link.
Yeah, you can see the connection. So looking at this group, Akkermansia, Bifido, Christensenella, Lactobacillus, what's the common thread?
It seems to be about managing inflammation, strengthening the gut's defenses, supporting metabolism.
All things you need for healthy aging.
Exactly. It really ties the gut microbiome directly to, well, the potential for a longer, healthier life.
So the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
How do these centenarians get such great gut microbes? What are they actually eating?
That's the key, isn't it? And diet seems to be a huge factor. Top of the list, dietary fiber.
Fiber, right. Not surprising, I guess.
Think of it as the primary fuel for many of these beneficial bacteria. They need it to thrive.
So all that advice about eating veggies and whole grains, it's actually feeding these longevity bugs.
Pretty much. Legumes, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, they're packed with fiber. And specific types like resistant starch.
Found in things like cooled potatoes or green bananas.
Yeah, and pectin from apples and citrus. Those are particularly good for feeding microbes like Roseburia and Eubacterium, which produce butyrate.
Butyrate, another one of those SCFAs.
That's right. Super important for gut lining health and has anti-inflammatory effects throughout the body.
Okay, fiber is crucial. Got it. What else?
Prebiotics. These are specific types of non-digestible compounds that act like fertilizer for beneficial bacteria.
Fertilizer. Okay, I like that analogy.
They selectively feed guys like Bifidobacterium and Lactobacillus. Think inulin from chicory root or garlic, FOS from onions, GUS from some legumes.
So fiber is general fuel. Prebiotics are like targeted fertilizer for the good guys.
You got it. It helps the good microbes establish themselves and flourish.
What about polyphenols? We hear about those in green tea, dark chocolate.
Yes, they're important too. found in berries, red grapes, all those colorful plant foods. They're antioxidants themselves, but our gut bacteria actually metabolize them.
Metabolize them.
Yeah, they transform them into other compounds that often have even stronger anti-inflammatory effects. It's a synergy.
Huh. So the bacteria unlock extra benefits from those foods. Cool. And you mentioned Akkermansia eats mucin. Can we eat mucin or encourage it?
We don't really eat mucin directly. It's more about maintaining a healthy gut environment overall, which encourages our body to produce it. Ah.
There's also some evidence, interestingly, that polyphenol-rich foods might indirectly help stimulate mucin production. So it all kind of links together.
It really sounds like an ecosystem where everything affects everything else.
It absolutely is.
Okay, so we know the key players and what feeds them. Let's get practical. What can people listening actually do to encourage these beneficial microbes?
Great question. One of the easiest and tastiest ways is through fermented foods.
Like the yogurt and sauerkraut we mentioned.
Exactly. Yogurt with live cultures, kefir, kimchi, sauerkraut. They directly add lactobacillus and sometimes bifidobacterium strains. It's like sending in reinforcements.
Reinforcements, I like that. What about probiotic supplements? Are they worth it?
They can be another tool. The science is evolving fast, though. Different strains do different things.
Right.
What's interesting now are these advanced formulations. For example, pasteurized Akkermansia. It's not live, but it's in late-stage clinical trials for metabolic syndrome and showing promise.
Pasteurized, so even dead bacteria can help. It seems so, in specific ways. It highlights how specific components or signals from bacteria can have effects.
Fascinating. And you also mentioned symbiotics.
Yeah, symbiotics are basically a combination probiotics, the good bacteria, plus prebiotics, their food.
The reinforcements and their lunchbox.
Kind of.
Yeah.
The idea is to give them the best chance to survive, colonize, and be effective once they get into your gut.
Makes sense. Now, something that sounds a bit more intense. Faecal microbiota transplantation, FMT.
Right, FMT. It's definitely more cutting edge and mostly used in clinical research right now.
So not something for home use.
Absolutely not. It involves transferring stool, basically, from a healthy donor to a recipient to restore their microbial community.
Wow.
It's shown remarkable promise in some studies, like reversing aspects of age-related frailty, but it's still under investigation and tightly controlled.
Okay, good to know. And looking further ahead, personalized microbiome interventions.
This is where things are getting really exciting. We're seeing sophisticated testing that can map out your individual gut microbiome in detail.
Your unique bacterial fingerprint.
Exactly. And based on that profile, the idea is to create tailored recommendations, specific probiotics, dietary changes, to address your specific needs or imbalances.
Much more targeted than a one-size-fits-all approach.
Potentially, yes. It holds a lot of promise for making gut health strategies much more effective.
That sounds like the future, really. So let's pull this all together. Why should we really care about the gut bugs of 100-year-olds? What's the takeaway?
I think the biggest message is that aging isn't just predetermined by our genes. The gut microbiome is something we can actually influence.
It's modifiable.
Hugely modifiable, mainly through diet and lifestyle. These centenarians with their specific microbial signatures kind of give us a blueprint.
A living blueprint for a gut that supports longevity. I like that.
Yeah, it shows what a gut community that supports not just long life, but healthy long life might look like.
So it's not just about adding years, but adding healthy, vibrant years.
Exactly. The bacteria we've discussed are tied to better metabolism, stronger immunity, even cognitive function, all vital for quality of life as we age.
Right.
By understanding them, maybe we can aim for that richer, more vibrant health span, not just lifespan.
Okay, so quick recap. Centenarians often have more Akkermansia, Bifido, Christensenella, lactobacillus. We can help these guys by eating lots of fiber, prebiotics, polyphenols.
Incorporating fermented foods.
Right, maybe considering targeted probiotics or symbiotics and keeping an eye on future personalized stuff.
That sums it up nicely. It's amazing how much potential influence we have over this internal world.
It really is. Definitely makes you think twice about lunch. So for everyone listening, maybe the big thought is this. That path to a long, healthy life, it isn't just about dodging disease. It might actually involve actively cultivating this microbial community inside you.
Building resilience from within.
Yeah. These centenarians might be showing us that the road to 100 could literally be paved with microbes. It's a reminder that those daily choices, what you eat, how you live, they're likely shaping your health trajectory way more than we used to think. Definitely food for thought.